Howdy, y'all.
Hi, guys.
It's Ryan
And Angela.
from RNA Music, deep in the heart of Texas. Still,
Yes.
believe it or not, I guess some of my goatees are just gray.
Just blonde.
Just blonde.
Yes.
So here we are, another Ask RNA. I don't even know what number this is. I think I stopped.
Yeah,
I stopped numbering them a few.
Yeah, a while back.
Few
It's just now
ago.
Ask RNA.
Now it's just questions and
Yes.
stuff. So
Ask you a question.
ask me a question.
Can I ask you a question?
Ax and Jax. All right.
Yeah.
First question. Aaron Anthony. Hi, Aaron.
Hey.
How are you, man? Hope the family's good.
Yes.
What do you think about the new updates to the PRS SE line? I'd like one more guitar.
One more.
Only one more. Hopefully the USA made one, but the new SEs have me really interested. Well, if you haven't paid attention yet to the new 2017 PRS SEs, those are the import models. Now, they've never said Paul Reed Smith on them. It just said SE or PRS.
Right.
And that was how they differentiated, big word, from the American Paul Reed Smith guitars. But now the big thing is, now all the imports say Paul Reed Smith logo. So that's a pretty big deal. I think it's cool. You know, I wish, I just recently got an SE a few months ago. Of course, I got a killer deal on it. So it wouldn't have mattered if I waited. But I think it's kind of neat. I think it's good for everybody who wants, to feel like, they're a fully part of the Paul Reed Smith family.
Right.
And they sell way more of their SE models than they do their USA full-on core models. I mean, they've said that themselves. So I think it's a good move for them, personally.
Sure.
She's like, I don't care. It's guitars. But I think it's kind of nice. The difference, you buy a Gibson, it says Gibson, and then Epiphone is like the cheap Gibsons.
Yeah.
Right? So you feel like a second-class citizen or something if you have the Epiphone. And with Paul Reed Smith, it's Paul Reed Smith, and now it's Paul Reed Smith on the affordable ones. And
Right.
I think it's a really smart move.
That's nice.
Because people are still going to know the difference between a core model and an import, but they are unifying their branding. I think it's cool. I like it, man. I've been really happy with my 30th anniversary SE. You think it's pretty? Whatever, it's that brown, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Something.
Looks like beans.
It looks like beans. George went and beans. She likes to take a survey. I've been really happy with my SE that I bought. I've never had one before.
It's not here, is it?
Yeah, I didn't bring it today, unfortunately. It's at home. Super stable guitar, great trim on it. It's crazy. I'll do a review eventually, but
Sure.
I think it's great. As does Angela.
I do.
Thanks for the question, man. I don't think you can go wrong with an SE if that's what you want to get.
Yeah.
I think you'll be really happy. Daniel Crane. Thanks again for answering my BBQ question.
Yeah.
We talked about barbecue last week. Texas barbecue versus everyone else. I live in a metro Atlanta, so the place in Bama is like 2 hours away.
Bob Gibson's.
You should go, man.
What?
Dude, you're in like the home of Orange Amplifiers.
Yeah.
Their U.S. headquarters is in Atlanta.
Yeah. I lived in Atlanta when I was 3.
You did?
I did.
For how long?
2 years.
Really?
3 and 4.
I know y'all were there, but I didn't know. I thought it was real brief, like 6 months or something. So, you're kind of a Georgia girl in a way, sort of.
A little bit. Yeah. I would like to go back to Atlanta.
I've never.
I have fond memories.
I don't think I've
saw,
ever been.
The Muppets Take Manhattan there.
When you were 4?
In the theaters.
I don't think I've ever been to Atlanta. I don't think. Maybe I have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's great. Beautiful
I have
town.
a question about your PRS. We were just talking about PRS. Have you had problems with your G string going out of tune?
Sorry.
You're not supposed to laugh. My standard 24 has a small problem with the G string staying in tune. Thanks again. Love the channel. Now, actually, Daniel, I don't know if you're talking about my PRS S2 or the new SE Custom 24 I have with the trim. But the answer on both of those is no. No problems.
No chafing.
No catching. No snagging. I would say if you have had any problems with it staying in tune, one of the best things you can do, possibly, especially if it's a trim, is to get like a pencil lead. You can get some graphite, kind of put that in the string slot in the nut.
Sounds painful. It's getting worse.
Put some little graphite there in the little slot, and that helps lubricate the nut so that if the string's passing through, it's not going to catch on any little, snags of material or whatever. So
let's move on from this question.
Now, if you're talking, now I will say on my S2 that sometimes getting it in and out of the bag, the G tends to be a little wonky when I first get it out of the bag and tune it up. But once it gets in tune, I don't really have any problems with it going out of tune while playing. So I think it's just the bag that it's in tends to push on that little tuner peg there. So next question. Chemistry talk with Dan.
Hey! This is not Dan?
Or not Dan? Is it Dan or not Dan? I don't know. It's Ryan Bryson is what it is. Also known as not Dan. Hey, if you guys have any questions about chemistry, or you have a student that needs help with chemistry, go check out Chemistry Talk with Dan on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubers.
So, he says, I don't always ask. I can't even
watch Ask RNA.
Got me all discombobulated. I don't always watch Ask RNA, but when I do, I have a great time. Here's my question. Do you guys do any impressions?
I don't know.
Not on a regular basis.
Not really.
I don't think.
No, I don't know.
Do I typically? Like on a regular?
No, not really. There's like a few, like you do Tobuscus's dog.
Yeah.
And you have to really be a YouTuber to know.
That's not right, Toby.
Yes. You'll have to look up Tobuscus.
At home, because we have dogs.
Because we have dogs, and so whenever the dogs come in, Ryan does the Tobuscus's dog
Tobuscus
voice.
has a dog named Griffin.
Yes.
And
it's hilarious.
Yeah, and so...
Oh my gosh.
And because my kids used to watch his videos, and they're like, it's Griffin. And yeah, so there's that.
Yeah, you do.
We do Batman a lot.
Yeah, you and the boys do Batman.
I'm Batman.
I do not.
I don't believe in luck. What do you believe in? I believe in Batman. But that one's super easy. Anybody can do gravelly voice Batman. So we do that. That one happens around the house quite a bit.
Yeah.
Batman. Mm-hmm. Dad. And then Bat Dad.
And Bat Dad doing Batman.
Dad. We do that one.
Yeah.
I can't think of any. You don't ever do any.
I used to do Cher. Remember when we were doing Turn Back Time?
Yeah.
But it was Jack from Will and Grace doing Cher, making fun of Cher.
It was an impression of Jack from Will and Grace doing Cher.
Impression of Cher.
It was an impression of someone else doing an impression.
Yes. So, and I can do little Aaron Neville singing the Cotton theme song.
What's that? How's that go? Now you have to do it.
Maybe some other time.
I
haven't in a long time, so
yeah.
I don't think I could. And now,
yeah.
But like the Cher, I'll see if I can do it. If I can turn back Tyrol.
That's the Jack version of Cher.
Yeah, that's because she goes Harold.
Ew.
Harold. Turn back Tyrol.
See, I'm imagining Will and Grace now.
Yeah.
Doing that.
So he was just like, Terrible.
I do some Pat David Gray impressions fairly regularly.
Yes.
Now, he's not famous, but he is a YouTube. Maybe he's YouTube.
Anything that I do, like Angela, it's not allowed.
It's not allowed. I do an impression of Pat from one of my own videos. Pat, Australia Pat.
Yes. We do that.
Crikey. No, I mean, this is... But no famous. No famous. Like, I don't, you know.
No, we don't, like, do Christopher Walken, or we don't do any... Like, that's, like, the go-to everybody does.
Yeah.
You know?
Or what's his face from Scarface?
Oh, yeah. Tony, or not.
Tony Montana.
Yeah. Hey, you don't got it. You know, I don't, yeah.
Yeah, so no, not really. Not professionally.
Yeah.
All ours are really just odd, like Griffin from Tobuscus.
Yeah, just like stuff that people don't really care.
And Pat David. Pat David. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
yeah.
It's my friend Pat from Australia. Like, I don't know who that guy is. Mm-hmm. So, no, not really. Question is...
Great question.
Dan. I mean, not Dan. Ryan.
Yes.
Do you do any
Do you do
them?
Yes. Oh, there's one.
Oh, yeah. Well, we do lines from movies, like our favorite movie lines.
Yes.
And that was like Hot Fuzz.
Yes.
You know, hey.
Mums.
Farmer's mums.
Yeah,
so
we
I don't
do
know
stuff
if
like
that counts.
that. But...
Lines from movies, but
yeah,
not real impressions.
I'm trying to think of, like, do we? I'll have to think on that while we're...
I was in college. I did a lot of Beavis and Butthead. But
a lot.
Not anymore.
To the point where on, like, our first phone call conversation before we started dating, he did Beavis and Butthead. Because we're talking about our cartoons that we watched, and we talked about Ren and Stimpy and Transformers and G.I. Joe and stuff like that. And he was like, talking like both. It's like, and then for a long time, he would do Hank Hill.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the extent of it.
That's the easiest one to do. Propane.
And I would do Luann every once in a while. Yeah.
I said, good day, Sheriff.
Yeah.
That was Bobby Hill, but
yes.
It's not really a good
impression.
Bobby.
Uncle Hank.
That was sorry. We're just reliving memories right now.
We haven't done that kind of stuff.
Personal.
So I guess we do.
But not regularly.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
and that's all. It's like little quibs, little gifts, one-liners.
Yeah, I could do like a whole paragraph in somebody's voice.
No,
not
I
like
couldn't.
that. It's all just...
You know who is a really great impressionist is impersonator. Impressionist? Yeah. Is the guy from Walking Dead who plays Aaron.
Oh.
Is that his name, Aaron, on the show?
So.
He was the guy who was following them, last season, the beginning of last season.
To bring them
to Alexandria. Him and Google him. I can't think of the actor's name, but Google him and go on YouTube. And I mean, he's good.
I did not know that.
Yes, he actually does an impersonation of Kevin Spacey doing Christopher Walken as Kevin Spacey.
That's pretty good.
Because Kevin Spacey does impersonations. He's very good at impersonations, which is really awesome.
So our short answer is yes and no.
Yes and no.
But you heard the long answer.
That was the extent of what we did.
And now, final question.
Final question.
Yes. Michael Kingston, with the ever-presence of online guitar buying sites, even Fender and others have it where you can buy direct, do you think this will hurt the brick-and-mortar dealerships? Great guitar question. Well, I think it has hurt them probably a little bit, but there are still people who want to go by and put their hands on the guitar. And we get a fair amount of that. We probably get more walk-in purchases now than we've ever had. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't even buy a guitar anymore without playing it first, because people have bought guitars online and then been disappointed. The guitar came in, it was maybe not what they wanted, or it came in broke, and then it was a hassle to return it and all that. So we do get a reasonable amount of people who are like, hey, I've bought online and it was it was a headache, and so now I always put my hands on first. Yeah. So I think it probably hurts a little bit. The dealer selling direct is really frustrating to me, in particularly because there are manufacturers who sell direct and they have dealers, but then they kind of bypass their dealers directly. You just order direct from them, and that's pretty infuriating for me because it's one thing to have to compete with other stores all over the U.S. or whatever, and you do whatever you do to get customers to come to you. Like for us, We do a lot of YouTube, social media, do a lot of things where you feel like even though we are a small mom and pop shop, even though you're buying online, and we have shipped guitars all over the United States, people call us and people email us and that kind of stuff, there's still like a connection there because of our social media stuff. So it still feels like a small family type transaction thing.
Right.
But, and other people have other hooks that they do to get customers. But when you're fighting the manufacturer on pricing and they run crazy deals like, hey, this week 20% off, and I'm like, why? That means I have to sell it at 20% off to compete with the guys who I bought the guitar from to begin with to sell the guitar.
Correct.
And that's kind of like, well, now I'm losing even more money. So I think that kind of stuff really frustrates dealers. But, what are you going to do? There's not a lot you can do about it sometimes. So I don't think, there's still a lot of guitar brick and mortar places out there, and I don't think they'll ever go away.
I don't think they will.
Ever.
I think some will, and that's just the nature of the beast, straight across the board. There are businesses that are coming and going only because a lot of brick and mortar are owned by older people who are ready to retire, and they don't necessarily have children or people that would inherit their business. So I think in that instance, I think a lot of the big box companies are hurting the mom and pops who are wanting, they really don't have that hand down legacy. But for the most part, people love walking into stores. People love hearing the chime of the bell. We don't have one. We should get one. But they love that. I love people come in and just lean on our cabinet, and lean on our front desk and just talk to us for hours and hours and hours, and our parents. And I think what's helped us too is that we have students, and so people are always coming in and out of our door. And I think that is the heartbeat of what's true Americana, with everybody. Really in any part of the country, people love to go, and they love that kitschy, they love that, hands-on feel. They love to, how many of us have gotten tired of calling a business and you're like, this isn't even a human, and they're trying to make them sound like a human, or they don't speak English for some people, or they it's just like you give you the runaround, and you have to, by the time you get to human, you've already pressed 1 and 2 like
so
1,000
angry.
times
By the time I actually get to the human,
and
I'm
it's
so
just
mad
you're
at
so
them.
frustrated. So it's nice to actually see a face and actually have somebody look at you in the eye and remember your name and say hi to your kids. And so in that essence, I don't think that the brick and mortar will ever go away, because people need that. People need human interaction.
Yeah, they do. And the most successful brick and mortars it's not just sales that drive it. Like us, we really make our living teaching lessons. We have a very strong student program, lesson program, and that is our livelihood. And when we sell guitars, it's great.
Yep.
But if I didn't sell a guitar today, it's like, well, it's fine, because we still have a bajillion students. And so
Literally
a bajillion.
A
Brazilian students, right?
Students.
And a lot of mom and pop and independent dealers, it's repairs, setups, lesson programs, and sales of instruments. It's never just sales. If you're just a sales only type place, that's very difficult, because the market's up, it's down, it's whatever. But
having students is where it's at.
Yeah, and service, like repairs. Like I know some guys that their bread and butter is like they got 3 full-time repair techs, and like all day long they're fixing guitars, repairing amps, building guitars, building amps. And yes, they have a lot of guitars on their wall and they do sales, but probably 50-60% of their actual income is repairs and setups and service. So anyways, I don't think it'll ever completely go away. Is it frustrating sometimes? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Depends on the company.
That's everything, really.
That's just
no matter what job you have and what company you go with, or your favorite or whatever. I think that it's across the board.
Yeah. Great question, Michael. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Very good one. If you guys have a question for next week, please type it in the comment section below. Of course, leave us your comments as well. We read the comments. There are plenty of comments on this video, 4 questions, and we will try to answer those next week. Hope everybody's recovering well from election.
Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday. Super
Not
Tuesday.
be confused with Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, but
yeah.
yeah, good times. We're not going to talk about it.
Nope.
And so it is dinner time. We got to go home and cook some dinner.
Food.
Or go buy some dinner or something.
Yes,
I
food.
don't know. But leave us your question for next week.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. Keep the music alive.
Don't forget it.
Wheelie, 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 wheelie. Wizards.
G-string.